Hi, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about attitude. I'm a big kind of advocate of having a good attitude, and it's something that, I don't know, if it kind of comes naturally to me, but I know a lot of people think, oh, that's just all that positive thinking thing, doesn't really matter. But I think it really does, and before I'm going to go into how I kind of work on my attitude and my mindset, I want to tell you guys a little story. So recently, my kids were sick, and I don't know what they had. My wife recently was recovering from COVID, and she had it for about 5 days. None of us got it. But then, like, the stomach thing happened, and if you guys have any young kids, I have a boy and a girl. They're 6 and 7 right now. And, they both woke up in the middle of the night and did the whole, vomiting thing, which is, I know that's gross if you're listening to this right now. But anyway, if you have kids, you know what it's like. But the funny thing is, so we're cleaning up after both of them, and they went back to bed and this and that, and we're cleaning it up, putting everything in the laundry and washer, and, you can't be mad at kids for that. I don't know if it was what they eat or if they just have a little stomach bug. But then tonight, my daughter had another episode. And so cleaned up after her. And we've kind of worked on attitude with our kids. I'll tell you about how I do that in a second. But the great thing is she said, she came to me, she says, Dad, at least I didn't vomit on the floor this time. It was just in my bed. So she has this, like, positive attitude, and I think a lot of it comes from kind of what we work on. So she was positive that it didn't go on the floor because the floor is a pain to clean, to get the carpet cleaners to come in and clean it. But let me go into attitude. So attitude is something very, very important because we all have kind of setbacks and struggles and things like that. And a couple of things that help, I'll talk about first with my family, and then I'll say what I do personally for this. For the family, I learned this idea from Dan Sullivan. He has an app called Win Streak, and basically what you do is a little app and you write down the 3 wins for the day. And I started to use this with my family. So every time we're kind of driving together or we're together, we talk about, I don't call it the Win Streak, we talk about the 3 good things that happened during the day. And so we each kind of share what are 3 good things, and usually for the kids it's like what they ate and what they played. But they're getting in this mindset of thinking about good things, okay, of what went well versus what didn't go well. What I personally do, kind of similar to the Win Streak, is something called a positive focus. So if you want to do that, you can just like Google Dan Sullivan positive focus, and you'll probably be able to even find out some of his sheets. So I have these sheets that I do 2 of these per day. So Monday through Friday, I do 2 of these little questions. So basically what it is like what went well and why, what's next, and then action. So for example, I might put in there, I did my podcast this morning when I was driving. Why was that good? Well, because it was easy, it was efficient. I started to tell stories. What's next? Well, I'm starting to curate more stories because I want to use more stories when I do my podcast. And what's my first action? Put it in my phone, these new stories that I'm thinking of during the day, and practice them on my patients so they get really good. Okay? Because that's one thing I'm working on right now are these stories and practicing them on my patients so I can include them in my emails and my podcasts. By the way, let me know if you guys like this new story format, or I know it's going to just be more time with me, but I think it's going to make it much more fun. Anyway, it's more fun for me. So, and you guys pay nothing for this, so you have to endure it with me. So that's what I do personally. Another thing I use is I think it's called a 5-minute journal. And the way I use the 5-minute journal is it has it starts out, if you want to Google that, I got this idea from Tim Ferriss. And the 5-minute journal is basically you look at what are the 3 things that you're grateful for, kind of working on gratitude, because gratitude is very similar to positive focus. And I have my whole gratitude list. I'll go over my what different categories I have for gratitude. One of my categories is momentum, so I'm grateful for momentum in something, progress in something, for other types of things. Then what are the 3 things I'm going to do in that day? And then what's one of my affirmations? Now, I'm not one of these huge affirmation guys, like, speaking it and it'll affirm, but it's just, I think it's a good thing to keep your mind on what is positive. But I do a little bit opposite. I actually do the 3 things I want to do for tomorrow the night before. So when I'm finishing my day, kind of talking about the bookends of life, you start with a routine in the morning and you end with a routine at the end of the day. I actually plan the 3 things I want to do. I open up the next page for the following day. So I can kind of, my subconscious mentally prepares for what are the things I want to happen for the next day. Anyway, those are a couple of the resources. If you guys have your own like positive things, that routines, or if you're just really negative, you probably haven't even listened to this far. So let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, have a great one, and I think my kids are going to be feeling better now, and I'd love to hear your stories too of your kids or things like that. Okay, take care.